And we begin this hour in the country's capital. The Gauteng Basic Education Department is fast-tracking plans to set up mobile classrooms to accommodate scores of unplaced pupils. In fact, they're preparing a piece of land near Akasia to establish a new school, which will begin with mobile classes. However, parents have rejected the site, citing safety concerns for their children. The land is located next to a shebeen, it's understood, and across a railway station. Despite these concerns, the department is forging ahead with their plans. SABC News reporter Patricia Visagie is watching developments and joins us now live from Orchards in Pretoria. And Patricia, it's a bit of a difficult situation for the department. On the one hand, they're being criticized for not coming up with the plan. And on the other, parents are rejecting the plan that is put on the table.
Well, definitely a difficult one indeed when you have, of course, those who demand more schools to be developed, to be constructed. But then it also comes with the concerns that are raised and pushback and criticism. And this time of the year, you'd understand that this is a huge highlight as a lot of parents battle to find space for their children. Gauteng in general is a high pressure area, a lot of demand in this particular province, a lot of influx from other provinces. So these are the issues that the Department of Basic Education is dealing with. We've been hearing the conversations throughout this particular week at Hoërskool Akasia. That's not very far from here. We saw the protests on the first day of the 2025 academic year, parents burning tires, barricading roads very early in the morning as obviously a way to demonstrate their unhappiness, echo their frustrations, and ultimately put pressure on the Department of Basic Education to do something about what they're unhappy with. And at the center of it all is parents feeling that they live in these areas, but their children ends up being placed in other communities, in schools in other communities, far from home. Obviously, that puts extra burden on a lot of parents as they have to now, make sure that there are other resources that are available. Transportation being the biggest one, and then the safety concerns. A lot of parents being at work, they're unable to go and fetch their children in the afternoon. So there are those issues that are at play. A lot of parents saying that they've applied at a particular school, but they're not getting access to that school. And then there's the issue of children who come from other areas who find space in these schools, yet the direct community feels that they are being discriminated against. But now the Department of Basic Education is looking at, coming up with ways to increase schools in certain areas, in your high pressure areas. Here in this particular area, we are in Orchards, Pretoria North. They're looking at developing this land. But as you've rightfully put it there, already there's resistance. One of it is safety, the safety concerns that the parents have raised. A railway that's right here in front of me, and I wish I can show you how dense it looks, how long the grass is, and just there on my left-hand side, there's also a lot of density that they're worried about. And just behind that is a shebeen or an entertainment space. I'm not sure how exactly we should term it, but it's an entertainment space. And that's one of the objections that have been raised, that how do you, erect a school next to an entertainment space? Is that not ultimately going to cause vulnerability for the children? And in terms of bylaws, what does that mean? Steve Mabona, Basic Education spokesperson in Gauteng, joins me right now. Steve, take us through. Let's start with the concerns that have been raised. Then you'll take us through the department's plans about this land. Just respond to some of the criticism, the objections that have been raised by some parents.
No, the criticisms and the objections can't overshadow the critical fact that we are highly pressured in this area. So this is a mechanism for us to alleviate the pressure. We did not say this is a permanent solution. This is an interim solution because no child must be at home. That's our basis. Those that are criticizing us, they need to don't be inward looking. Look at a bigger picture to say, what is it that we must do as a department? Must we then say children must go and be at home? Or must we have a school of grade 8? Because if you're going to take 1,100 applicants who need a secondary school and you put them in one school, it means the entire school, it's a school of grade 8. So all those, they should be considered and taken cognizance before you criticize. You criticize, you also must assist us with the solutions, because it doesn't help for you to criticize and you don't even have solutions. So this is an interim process that we have introduced because we are highly pressured in this area. We're going to be accommodating children that are coming from this area, which is Orchards. It's not far for them. It's here. It's in their space. They don't need to go to Akasia, as you have mentioned. But most of parents that stays in the Akasia area next to that school, there's an alternative which we have already introduced: Teresa Park Secondary School and Teresa Park Primary School. And there as well, it's a temporary measure. We are planning to build a mega school there because it's in the same precinct. So when we are done with the mega school, we'll see it's going to accommodate more learners. We might even dip into areas like Orchards, accommodate learners there. But here, we are in the process to look for an alternative land where we're going to be building a brick and mortar school. But in the interim, this is the solution that we are coming with. Children must be in the classroom. We know many parents, they've said the school doesn't exist. Yes, we are clearing the ground. As you can see, there's work that has been happening. The fence has been delivered, it's stored somewhere in the area. As soon as they are done with the clearing, we're going to be putting a fence. We're actually at the end of the school. They will not be accessing through the side of the road and the tavern that we have mentioned. It's 250 away from the school, and children will not be in a position to see because it's hidden, it's not even exposed. But they're not going to be using the back entrance exit. There won't be anything back exit or whatever. It will be probably, if it were, we'll have something for emergency purposes, but they're not going to use the side. They will be using the front end, which they will be entering from the township itself, the orchard. So, but we are working very closely with the Department of Community Safety. We will be having Amapanyaza to assist us, with patrol. But also, we have a relationship with the CPF and the police in the area. They will be also assisting us. And school will also be having its own patrollers. So safety, yes, it's a concern. But we have a plan on how we're going to mitigate against that.
Some of the parents have talked about bodies that were found close by. And another parent raised concerns about a drug den that's operating in this particular area, a few meters away from where the school is. And these are some of the concerns that they say that, in particular, girl children, they are scared that their girl children might be compromised, in particular after they claim that the bodies of women who were killed were found close by. And then the issue around the drug den, the shebeen you've already mentioned. Have you taken all these elements into consideration? Of course, it sounds like you have a safety plan that you will be considering, but these are serious concerns that are being raised. If you find bodies of women that have been killed close by, dumped in the bushes here.
Look, we cannot underscore the issue of safety concerns in the area. That's why when we decided we had then to have a safety plan, like as we've already alluded to, this is at the back end. There won't be anyone who will be accessing this end of the school. It's at the back, and most of our process will be happening way in front. So we have taken that in consideration. But that's why we are saying it's an interim process, which we are trying to alleviate pressure, which we've already announced. We showed you on the numbers that came from Akasia, the applications. We showed you what Gerrit Marets gave us in terms of the applications. We showed you the neighboring schools, on how we are pressured. So this is the least that we can do as a first step of trying to alleviate the pressure that will be coming from parents. Parents, yes, we understand. They did raise those concerns. But there's an understanding that the department is taking some steps for that. The child must be in the classroom. So, some parents, we know that they don't want mobile unit. some of the reasons, that parents they've been saying to us, you are placing our children in a school that does not exist. When they check on Google Maps, it's talking about India. They've been saying that. But once we're in operation, surely they should be in a position to get used to the fact that we are here, but as an interim measure, so that children can be taught. Because we cannot rotate. Because if we are not introducing this process, it means our children must then go back to COVID. And we have seen how destructive that thing can be, of children rotating, So we are trying to alleviate that pressure of children having to rotate. Because if we don't introduce this, it means children must rotate.
More or less, give us a profile of the school, mobile classes. From which grade to what grade? Exactly tell us about the profile. What are we looking at? When will it open? Earlier this week you said you're looking at May perhaps, but maybe take us through what are you looking at? What can we expect in the next couple of days, weeks, months? And how many children are you catering for?
No, taking from experience, a project like this will take 4 to 5 months, the least. So that's why in our plans, we have announced that during May, June, children should be, at the school. The school should be fully operational. As you can see, it's a land. You need to make sure that you connect water, because the satellite school, it does not use mobile toilets. We use toilets that are connected to the system.
So ablution facilities, that construction is something that is also going to take place?
Yes, and it will be connected to the bulk. Electricity of the school will be connected to the bulk as well. So, but we'll also have a generator as a form of a backup in the event of anything. Because this is a school. It's a class that you can mount a smart board. As you know that we are, teaching online. We are introducing ICT schools, throughout. So it's a school that it can do anything besides the school being just a brick and mortar. The only difference, it will be a brick and mortar, and probably then the sporting facilities that you will not have. But we have a relationship with the neighboring schools. You might have been aware that we have introduced Teresa Park and high school and the primary. They don't have a sporting field, but we have a relationship with Teresa Park, the brick and mortar, to accommodate those. So those relations will then be assisting us to make sure that we alleviate this pressure. But we just plead for patience from parents. We are trying our utmost best to make sure that children are taught, because we are so highly pressured. Besides us doing what we are doing here, most of children were supposed to be at home or overcrowd our schools, and which is something that we are trying to avoid, because if you overcrowd, the teaching and learning is compromised, and parents will still be coming back to you to complain, to say our children don't have furniture. What are you doing about furniture? But if the overcrowding is to an extent that you can't even put furniture in a class, then it becomes a challenge. But we understand those are complaining. We apologize to inconvenience them. It's a temporary process. They just need to be patient a bit with us. We are pleading. Let's work together. Where we can resolve issues of their concern, let them come closer, because the school should have an SGB which will be representing the parent body. Parents that have concerns, the SGB will then be in a position to work with us so that we alleviate anything which need to be attended.
These plans are not new though. They've been coming for a while now. Why did the department wait until the 11th hour before you start preparing, when you knew very well that the academic year is upon us, kids need to be in the classes? Why did you not get this land ready so that by the time we opened on Wednesday, those mobile classes could have been here and we could have seen the life that you're talking about that needs to benefit? Why have we waited until the 11th hour?
No, we didn't wait up until the 11th hour.
But see, we've been hearing about this land for over a year, so it means that you had a lot of time to prepare for this.
No, it's not over a year. It's not over a year. Don't over-exaggerate.
When I did the Danny Malan story, that's 2 years ago. the Danimalan story where the chaos happened. We heard about this land.
No, we didn't. It was not this one. It was Teresa Park. And there now, actually I want to take you there. From here we must go to Teresa Park so that you can see on what we are talking about. Because sometimes it's easy to talk about something that you can see whether it's going to work or not. But it's not a long time.
When did you guys acquire this land? And when did you acquire this land? When did your plans kick in to have the school here?
No, we started last year.
When last year?
We started last year, early in the year. But you know that processes of this nature, they are not processes that we can just go over the counter and say, this is what I want. There are processes that you need to invoke and make sure that you don't make mistakes, and decisions that you take are informed by policy, are informed by regulations, because we are using money here. So your oversight organizations, when they come here,
the auditors, yes.
The auditors must see that it's worth what we have used. The opposition political parties, when they come here, they must see, because then we'll be fielding a lot of questions if we rush into doing things because we have a pressure from parents. But if we plan ahead and make sure that whatever we do, we know that there's no comeback. That's why
talk about the rents and the cents. How much have you budgeted for this particular project?
No, I don't have that information offhand.
And I'm asking you because we're already hearing the rumors. We've seen some elements. We've been here. We were here on Wednesday. We're back here today. It seems like everybody has interest in what happens here. Those who are in the construction space, and we know about the construction mafia, the 30% gang. So it seems like there's already a lot of tension that is brewing around this land. Even us, the media, we've been receiving hostility. Even the other day when we were here, of people who confronted us about what are we doing here, why are we talking about what's happening here. So we have to talk about the budget because there is a lot of interest in terms of that budget.
No, remember the budget and our finances are not a secret. Remember, anything we spend, it should be in our financial statement. It should be in the annual report. It will be presented in the legislature. So there's nothing that you can hide when coming to the budget. It's just that, like as I said, I don't want to mislead you. We can get the figures and send it to you. When you do a package, you'll be in a position to reveal on how much you are spending. But as for the community involvement, we just want to plead for patience, plead for working together. Because yes, indeed, if you come to a community, there's certain expectations, but we can't have expectations at all cost. That we will then probably stopping the projects and all that. We need to be putting our heart where it should be. We're talking about our children here. We're talking about our future. We're talking about people that must be in a class. That's why we have then resorted as an interim measure to take those children in Amanda Sech. All those children are in a classroom. It's only 2 or 3 parents that did not attend meetings when they were called to say, come attend a meeting so that we can give you information about the school. Probably we've been interacting with them to give them guidance on what is it that they need to do. But all those children are in a class and parents understand that. We really are doing this for our children, and our interest should be that all small things or side issues can be managed, but as adults we don't need to be selfish. This is the future of our children. At some point we went through our schooling, but we can't want to be standing in front of the future of our children because of our selfish reasons.
All right, thank you. There you heard it. It is all about investing in the future, the real beneficiaries, that being the children. But of course, the other side, there is the resistance. It's great work. I think we would all agree that this is what we are calling for. More schools. The department need to cater for the swelling population in the various communities and the influx into Gauteng. But it comes at the cost of much criticism, and then there's the opportunism that is also at play. Those who want to benefit financially from these type of projects, and that's the tension that we're already seeing that is brewing on the ground, as some feel that they want to be part of this construction project. But we'll have to just monitor and see how exactly will government navigate to make sure that there's no malfeasance here, there's no corruption that takes place, and ultimately their vision is realized to make sure that there's a school that benefits the children in this particular area. It's back to studio.
Absolutely. It's all about planning, especially when you consider just how all too familiar stories like this are at the start of any academic year, at least in the last few years. Patricia, Visagie, live to us there from Orchard. Thanks very much indeed.